Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Holy Grail for every enlightening expert biz. And I'm Alan Davidson, and I am your host this evening. I'm thrilled you are here. Thank you. So I just want to make sure that you can see my screen and hear me. So you can see the image there on the right. If you can hear me and see me, if you would just enter a Y into your little chat box or your question box, I would appreciate it. So thank you. And also, I'm broadcasting live from Houston, Texas this evening. And if you would just enter in where you are viewing from this evening, that'd be great. Thank you. So, a wonderful, wonderful evening to you. Namaste to you. Welcoming all of you enlightening experts. I'd love to start this evening's program with really just a centering ritual, a centering meditation for us to connect not only to our bodies and our higher selves, but to this web of hearts that are around the globe this evening. So please just take a moment to close your eyes and taking a breath for your body and just taking a precious moment to sense your body, all the delicious sensations that are happening in your body in this moment. Taking a moment to connect to your heart and that exquisite flow of emotions that is constantly moving through your awareness. And a full breath for heart. And taking a breath for mind. And can you so subtly notice the flow of thought, the actual sensations in your body that are triggered by each thought as it flows by your attention. And a breath for spirit, that flow of chi or shakti, vital life force energy that flows through your being. And a breath for choice, for the habits and behaviors that allow you to live your life. And a breath to integrate them all together. And just taking a moment and rubbing your hands together. And you can place one hand over your heart or both hands. And just taking a moment to really activate the heart energy, the heart center. And imagine all the hearts around the globe that are connecting in this moment, heart to heart, listening to my voice, joining us in this tribe of consciousness, enlightening experts around the world. And just imagine your heart connecting with my heart connecting to your heart, and to all of our hearts together. And as you're ready, you can relax your hand or hands and open your eyes and come back to the room. And thank you so much for just that moment of presence to yourself and to each of us together here. So, beep, 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 beep. Radio station WIIFM, meaning what is in it for me. So since this is an enlightening expert training, and particularly business and marketing training, this is your first tip right here. No matter how enlightened we imagine our clients and customers to be, They are always still listening from that place of how can this benefit me? How can this benefit my clients, my customers? So you always want to very quickly connect to what's in it for you. You know, what's the benefit to you for being here this evening? So just a quick reminder, tonight we're going to cover the 4 tragic business mistakes that I have found in working with enlightening experts over the last 10 years, and particularly how they take their expertise, their businesses offline, and how they bring them online. What are the 3 pillars of enlightening marketing? What are the 4 stages of an enlightening online biz? What is the holy grail of every enlightening expert business? And then what are the 5 steps to your own enlightening holy grail? So I'm going to do my very best to engage you and entertain you and to inspire you with some of the things that I've found in my years of running very successful businesses. So who is an enlightening expert? It's a spiritual business owner who lives their life and runs their business with a core set of values. They're personal and spiritual values that are grounded in truth, integrity, and compassion. An enlightening expert is committed to doing good, doing well while doing good. And an enlightening expert uplifts everyone that they come into contact with. It comes into contact with their business and comes into contact with their marketing. And so some different examples of enlightening experts: healers, teachers, authors, speakers, coaches, live event leaders, online business owners, and marketers. And that's a very sort of broad, generic spectrum, but within that, I work with a lot of yoga teachers, Nia dance teachers, massage therapists, life coaches, wealth coaches, health coaches, nutritionists, heart-centered business people, heart-centered business teachers. So there's a vast spectrum. I work with a lot of intuitives, a lot of body workers of different stripes and kinds, a lot of energy workers of different stripes and kinds, from polarity therapists to a lot of EFT tapping therapists and experts. So a broad spectrum of people who, I should say, have a sort of spiritual vested interest in running their lives and running their businesses. So welcome each and every one of you. This training tonight is specifically for those of you who want freedom. You want a genuine freedom of choice in your life, to be able to choose to do work that is aligned with your soul, work with people who are in alignment with your soul, to have the kind of impact that you want to have in the world. You want financial freedom, freedom to travel, freedom to pursue your own radiant enlightenment. This program is definitely for experts who take action. Running a very successful, enlightening expert online business is not for sissies, I'll tell you right now. You have to take inspired action, action that is in alignment with your soul. These are for enlightening experts who are tenacious, down to your bones. You're strong-willed and stubborn and willing to work. If you're an enlightening expert who really wants to build a brand and have a global impact, then these are definitely strategies that will help you do that. And if you're an enlightening expert who's really ready to manifest wealth and abundance, then you're in the right place. I invite you to stay to the end and the end of our program. And I've got a bonus that I will gift to you for your time and your attention. You'll hear me talk a lot tonight about divine audience and who your perfect customers are. This is actually a 3-hour training that I did on attracting your perfect customers. So at the end of our presentation tonight, about 80 minutes in, something like that, 75 minutes in, I'll send you the link for that. So I invite you to stay till the end. So just a few words about me. I'm Alan Davidson, your host. I help enlightening experts to remove the blocks to their most radiant enlightening selves so that you can go big with your soul's purpose. I am the author of Body Brilliance, the #1 health and wellness bestseller. It hit #7 on the Barnes & Noble Top 100 Books the week that it came out, and also went on that year to win 2 National Book of the Year awards. I currently sit on the Center for Integral Wisdom. I'm on the board of directors there with people like John Mackey, the author of Conscious Capitalism. He's also the CEO of Whole Foods. Ken Wilber, who is the founder of Integral Theory. Barbara Marx Hubbard, who is the grande dame of conscious evolution. She's an amazing futurist. John Gray, the author of Men Are for Mars and Women Are for Venus. And John's mother, they're both from Houston, or were from Houston. John's mother's no longer with us. She was a great mentor of mine for many years. Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup of the Soul. Sally Kempton is one of my favorite wisdom teachers working today. She's from the Siddha Yoga tradition. And then Michael Beckwith, who's from the Agape Church. Collectively, we're on the board of directors there at the Center for Integral Wisdom. And our #1 intention together is to transform the source code of consciousness for humanity so that collectively we can work at helping to transform the world at the most practical and fundamental level so that society can heal and change and grow and evolve. So I promised you, as the invitation to come to this webinar, 90 minutes of my very best. And I've shoehorned decades of years of study into tonight's training. I've been running a very successful massage therapy practice since 1988, and in 2006 I started moving my business online and have been very successful with that. At the end of tonight's program, there will definitely be an invitation to go deeper if some of you would like to manifest some of this work in your own lives, in your own business. One of the things that I want to share with you, as I look at my life today, it's extraordinary. The caliber of people that I get to work with and hang around with and have conversations with and study with and learn from is just amazing. But it wasn't always that way. I moved to Houston in 1980 and very quickly became bartender to the fabulous, and was just in the midst of the party scene. And a dark secret that I carried for a very long time was that I was an IV drug user. And even though I was surrounded by people who professed to love me and respect me and celebrate me, I was excruciatingly alone and lonely. I was so anesthetized to my own feelings and experience that I couldn't even let the love of my dearest friends in. And simultaneously to that, it was the 80s, and it was the beginning of the HIV/AIDS epidemic. And eventually we learned that blood-to-blood contact was how the virus was spread. And once I learned that HIV was caused by a virus, I just assumed I would die a very agonizing and painful death, because I had shared needles with men who had already died from AIDS. And I just expected that to be my own future. And at that point, by the late 80s, I was surrounded by death and dying. I also happened to live with a medical doctor who was an expert on HIV/AIDS, and so Dr. Wayne kept saying to me, "Alan, I think you might be HIV negative. Alan, I think you might be HIV negative." And so Finally, having gotten clean and sober, I had to decide, am I making short-term plans for my life, or am I making long-term plans for my life? And I went to the clinic, and they drew blood. And in those days, in 1988, you had to wait 2 weeks to get the results. So I remember going back to the clinic to get the results of that test and sitting in that chair in that waiting room and just imagining that the walls were saturated with fear and anxiety of all the people who had sat in that room waiting for the news that they were probably going to die. And very quickly, the attendant came and took me back to the cubicle and told me that I was HIV negative. And I knew that I was experiencing a miracle, and it was sort of one of those special effects moments. The counselor sort of receded to the back, and my vision tunneled, and this sort of roar vibration started in my body and my hearing, and I knew that the goddess or God or universal intelligence, or whatever you choose to call that wisdom that runs this amazing universe we live in, had placed her hand on my shoulder and spared me for something. And I left the clinic that day vowing that I would make a difference in my own life and make a difference in my community. And I didn't know how, but I knew that I had amazing gifts that I'd been squandering, and that I wasn't going to squander them anymore. And about 6 months later, I found myself in massage school. And that was 1988, and I still do the occasional massage. I still have a clinic here in Houston. Somebody else does most of the work. Being clean and sober, the number one thing that I found was body-centered meditation is the thing that helped me recover my body, recover my long buried emotions, help to access my enlightened mind, help to activate my spirit, and start to really make better choices in my life. And so, body-centered meditation has been my path to wholeness and healing. And so the one thing that I found, we used to call it paying attention, now they call it monotasking. So I really invite you to bring your undivided attention, your full body presence to this presentation. I'm going to shoehorn as much as I can for you into this presentation this evening. So I invite you to turn off your Facebook and turn off your phone and close the door and just be present as much as you can in your own experience and in our time together. So what is the Holy Grail for every enlightening expert? And I want to talk about the reality of the Holy Grail and the hero's journey of the Holy Grail, and then the metaphor of the Holy Grail. Obviously, the Holy Grail is called the drinking cup that Jesus used in the Last Supper, and that he shared the first communion with the disciples that evening. And fast forward from that, in the medieval times, the Knights Templar were supposedly had kept and saved and protected the Holy Grail for years and years. And then in the Arthurian, King Arthur legends, Sir Galahad had a vision of the Holy Grail, and he was the archetype that started the classic hero's journey. Now, the hero's journey archetype had been around for many, many thousands of years, but in the Western civilization, we think in terms of Galahad and the Holy Grail, and the hero's journey of pursuing the Grail, but more importantly, the Holy Grail symbolizing the inner synthesis of the body and the heart and the mind and the soul in alignment and fully integrated together. And just more simply, the Holy Grail, now we hear it in the lexicon of language of, it's the epitome, the pinnacle, the peak. And so when I talk about the Holy Grail for every enlightening expert and relation to your online business, what I mean is it's an evergreen automatic sales funnel or sales sequence that is 24/7 working in the background, that's bringing dollars, clients, and customers weekly, even daily, like clockwork. So it's there in the background. So anything and everything else you do to grow your business is built on the foundation of this. And so I'm going to share with you this evening a lot of what I've learned around working with enlightening experts, people who live their lives from spiritual principles, who usually turned off by traditional marketing tactics and strategies, and then how we as enlightening experts can actually create online businesses for ourselves. So as we dive into that, I want to really ask you what's at risk. And there's multiple layers here if you do not figure this out. I can't tell you how many enlightening experts that I've worked with over the years who really struggle. The number one problem that I see with most enlightening expert businesses is that they're cash starved. They don't have the income flow that they want and need and deserve to actually thrive and flourish. I mentioned that I taught massage for 10 years. I was a massage therapist, but I taught massage for 10 years here in Houston. And so I got to work with some really amazing young people who were coming to massage because they wanted to do work that had real meaning and they wanted to make a difference. And the thing that I realized is that the common denominator was they wanted to make an impact and they wanted to make a decent living. And that's what I find to be true of all enlightening experts. They want to make an impact and they want to make a decent living for their lives. So that's one layer of why it's essential you crack the code for this. Now, what's the next layer? Here's another reality that I've seen having worked with enlightening experts for over 30 years, is that you have to do the inner work to get the outer results. That so many of enlightening experts that I've worked with have been wounded in some way, form, or fashion in their lives, and that there is this core belief that I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve success, I don't deserve to be happy. The concerns about abandonment and what people say, what people think, and actual fears of annihilation, feels of being hurt, being wounded. So there's a number of core woundings that people have. You have to do the inner work to heal those wounds to be able to actually have the outer success at the level that most of my students and clients want. So cracking the code of having your own Holy Grail, having your own automated sales sequence, your own webinar sequence, is really about you going toe-to-toe with your own inner shadows and transforming them. That's the second layer. The third layer is that the world needs you. The world is demanding that you do your work. The world is demanding that you do your inner work and do your shadow dance. And the world is demanding that you crack this code. Because if you don't have to pick up a newspaper or watch the news or look at your Facebook feed to get the sense that the world is in a spot of trouble right now. And if you genuinely want to have the global impact that you want to help to transform the world and create a movement and create a transformation that will reach the four corners of our globe and our earth and every heart, every human heart, then it's essential that you learn these business and marketing skills so that you can, one, as a human being, stand up in your most radiant, enlightening self, but then also scale that presence and access your divine audience all around the world. So, so here is a simple test to see if you are where you are on your own expert journey. So I'd like you to just put pen to paper for a moment, and what is your financial goal for the next 30 days for this month? And then just if you can run the numbers as closely as you could of the actual dollars that you earned last month. And is there a gap? And then what's the difference? X minus Y equals Z. What is the difference to you? So, you know, if you're comfortable, I won't read out names, but what are your financial goals for the next 30 days? What would you like to be earning per month in your Enlightening Expert business? Enter that into the question box there. That'd be great. $100,000, $120,000, $20,000, $24,000, $40,000. So yeah, decent incomes per month. That'd be fabulous. 4,000, absolutely. All right, so as we roll into our content, I just want to share some success stories with you of clients that have cracked this code of an evergreen webinar funnel in their business. This is Suzanne Evans. She is the founder of Suzanne Evans Coaching. And when she was ready to launch her book, The Way You Do Anything is the Way You Do Everything, I designed the book launch strategy for her. And she definitely used a webinar sequence and a live stream sequence to take her book to be #5 bestseller on the New York Times and the how-to list and advice list. And then this is my friend Lisa Sasevich of theinvisibleclothes.com. And the thing about both Suzanne and Lisa is they are amazing women on stage and live, and they are incredible saleswomen on stage, but both of them had trouble on the online space, and how do they move their incredible power of speaking from the stage to online, and they both hired me to help them do that. And in January of 2014, 2 years ago, I designed the Speak to Sell launch for her, and at the time we were done, it was the single most successful online campaign for her business at that point. And then this is Margaret Lynch, who is an EFT tapping expert. She actually just spoke at Omega Institute, and she's the author of Tapping into Wealth. And we've designed a number of online automated funnels for her. So, you know, these are examples of people who have cracked this automatic funnel. They have their holy grails, and so they are bringing in sales every week, every day, up to their businesses. Okay, so let's dive into the tragic mistakes that I see. So we're going to work from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, David Letterman style here. So the tragic mistake number 4 that I see is the classic chicken versus the egg. And not that we're going to resolve that conflict this evening, but in regards to our online businesses, there is always the tragic mistake. It's that tension between, do I build my list or do I develop an offer first? And 99% of enlightening experts that I see, and this is what I was taught, build your list first. Put up a website, come up with a free, legitimate bribe, an instant gratification bribe of some kind, whether it's an ebook, a report, a video training sequence, an audio interview, something to get people to raise their hand and give you their first name and their email address. And it's like, build your list. And I firmly believe in my heart of hearts at this point that that's a mistake. What I personally feel that you should do, the solution to that, is actually craft a converting sales offer first. Now, since I speak to enlightening experts, you have an expertise in some way, form, or fashion. And so you have an opportunity to sell what you're really good at, whether it's one-on-one or to small groups or to live events or whatever. So create an offer that you can then make that offer online. What I see people doing for years, they get stuck in the trap of building their list, and they never get around to actually making them an offer. They never get around to trying to sell them something. And so what I tell all of my clients and students you must do is get an offer that people actually want. There's proof of concept that the transformation that you promise, you can actually deliver it and people experience it and they can become your ambassadors. Do that part first, and then do the work of creating a bribe, an immediate gratification bribe that gets people raising their hand, submitting their name and their email to you, and when they do that, then you can introduce them and invite them to invest in the transformation you provide. So most enlightening experts, many online business people are doing this backwards, and this is the tragic mistake number 4 that I see. So here's just a quick couple of examples. If you're a coach, you offer a 3-month coaching package, and I think that if you're a coach and you're delivering the transformation that you deserve, you ought to be selling a 3-month package for a minimum of $1,000, and even up towards $1,000 a month. It'd be a $3,000 package for 3 months of coaching. If you're a meditation teacher, like that's what I do these days, that's my primary business, is evolutionary meditation. I offer online classes and online groups. If you're a body worker, a massage therapist, you offer a package there. So, but you want to craft your high converting offer first, and then when you attract your divine audience and your perfect customers to your list, you've got something to offer them. And so you're making money from the start and not waiting 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years down the road while you build your list, scurrying around, and then go, oh, but I've grown on my list, but I'm not sure they really want what I've got to offer. You hammer all that out at the beginning. Now, here is an example of one of my friends and clients that had really cracked the code. This is Stephen Russell. He is also known as the Barefoot Doctor. He's a author of at least 13, 14 books. He's Europe's and England's top Tai Chi and inner martial arts expert. And he is when he hired me to work, he had been traveling around Europe, particularly doing live events for years, and was really trying to crack the code of creating an online training. And he also simultaneously sort of reached that point in his career of being an expert for many, many years, and he sort of was like, let me go back to basics. Let me look at the common denominator of all of my many years of study, my many years of teaching, and what are the things that I say over and over and over? What are the hurdles that I see my students have to climb over and over and over? And he really came up with 8 things that people need to do and achieve and succeed at from a Taoist or Chinese perspective to be successful in their lives. And that became the foundation for School for Warriors. And so we launched that, and we ultimately created a School for Warriors 2 and a School for Warriors 3, Advancing. So he was able to take something that's very, very subtle, like Tai Chi and inner energy medicine. He was an acupuncturist for years, and actually create a program for people online that was very successful. Okay, so here's tragic mistake number 3 that I see. So if you spend much time in marketing, you'll hear that sort of the recipe for good marketing, for I call them the 3 pillars of enlightening expert marketing, is your message to your market, to your media. And most people focus on the media. If you've got a bricks and mortar business someplace, you've got a massage studio or a Nia dance studio or a yoga studio, or you're a facialist, an esthetician, if you're an intuitive, a psychic, then, you're using advertisements and classifieds and things in your local magazines and things like that. You might be even using radio or doing small events at healing centers and things like that. Well, when we talk about going online, people get so fascinated by the shiny object of the internet and online marketing that they focus all their time and attention about trying to figure out the online piece. They start with the media first, and that's the last place that you should start. So the solution to this tragic mistake number 3 of focusing on the media first is that, 1, you need to focus on your message, your messaging, and your offers. You want to make sure that the transformation that you sell, that you provide, and that infuses your offers is in line with your soul, first and foremost. And then you want to talk about what are the qualities, characteristics, and attributes of your perfect customers, of your divine audience. And then, are they in synchronicity with each other? So you need to focus on the message and the market first. And once you have that, then you find out what's the best medium to reach these people. How do I reach them? Whether it's locally or globally, and what's the best medium for doing that? Can you one of the things that I see over and over and over is people get so hung up on the medium. And, is it, LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it Twitter? Is it Instagram? Is it Pinterest? How am I going to grow my tribe? What about my website? What about my, my instant gratification bribe? They get so focused on all the technology piece and the online social media piece that they get completely overwhelmed and distracted, and they don't do the important inner work of getting crystal clear who they are at soul level and designing their messaging, their transformation, and their offers around who they are at soul level. And then from that place, Who's my divine audience? Who are the people that were born into this world, into this life, that I'm destined to work with, to help, to facilitate the healing and the transformation that they need and crave and are willing to invest in my products and programs? You do that first and then figure out what's the medium to deliver that. Can you see how that would make a huge difference in the way that you're approaching your business right now? So here's an example of the way I've crafted my own messaging and my offers. I helped enlightening people and enlightening experts to clarify their vision in line with their soul purpose and design a strategy to manifest that vision so that they can change their world, make more money, and enjoy more precious time. So that's just a way of how I have gotten clear on who I am at soul level, who my divine audience is, and then I use various technologies to reach those people. So here's an example of one of my customers and clients, Marcia Weeder. And again, I caught her at an important transition period in her life and in her work. She is the founder of dreamuniversity.com and had really focused for many years on helping people succeed and achieve their dreams. And at the point I started working with her, she was sponsoring the Wealthy Visionary Conference. This was the very first one, and I did on the online marketing, ticket sales, and then helping to sell the DVDs afterwards. But Marcia had up-leveled her own alignment with who she was at soul level. And she wasn't content just to help people satisfy their dreams, whatever that happened to be. She wanted to work with people who were really dedicated and committed to making a difference at a global level, being a visionary, a world visionary, and that were really interested in manifesting wealth and abundance in the process of doing that. And so the Wealthy Visionary Conference was her very first time to pull that together. So she really up-leveled her own vision, up-leveled who her divine audience is, and then created this event that was a live event, but it was also streamed live via the internet during the whole 5 days. And then a new medium of recording those DVDs and the audios and selling those. So a multimedia experience was then captured and sold. So that's one example. Okay, so here's tragic mistake number 2. People build it with the thought that that they will come. There are sort of 3 online biz sales models. You can build it, you can borrow it, you can buy it. You can build and manifest your customers through your website. You can borrow it, which is affiliate marketing, or you can buy it, which is Facebook ads, Google ads, things like that. And with your best-selling webinar. Now, there's a fast boat and then there's a slow boat. And what I see over and over and over with enlightening experts is they are focusing on the slow boat. And again, that's their web page, their social media, groups, channels, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, things like that. So they're putting all these efforts into regular blog posts, regular YouTube posts, regular social media posts in an attempt to create a list, a business. But in my experience, it takes about 2 to 3 years of very consistent and regular dedicated work of building your platform that way before it actually is able to scale and deliver you the kind of income that you need now to live and to invest and to grow your business. So building it is the slow boat to China, folks. And that's where most people I see, again, are being taught on how to grow their online businesses. Now, so the second mistake that I see is people focus on building it. They come online, they study with different teachers and people like that, which is great. This is exactly what I did. And they hear about Jeff Walker and they hear about product launches and they, oh, product launch is the fastest way to grow your list. Well, yeah, that actually is true. The product launches, get, 6 figures in 6 days or a year's worth of sales in 7 days. Like, well, yeah, that's possible. So they want to do a product launch, but they don't even have an offer that they know converts yet. So, they're jumping ahead of the game here. And I can't tell you, as a Jeff Walker strategist, I am a product launch strategist and have been since 2009. I have designed and or managed over 70 launches. At this point, I quit counting at 70. I think it's probably closer to about 94 at this point. How many strategy sessions I've done with people who desperately want a product launch, but they're nowhere near, they don't have the assets, they don't have the business structure in place to even dream about having one. So again, a lot of people put their attention and efforts into a launch and they're just not there yet. And so the solution to this tragic mistake is what I call buy it. Create a best-selling webinar or live stream, some sort of recorded event that can be played 7 days a week, and then once you have that in place, your messaging, your offer, speaking to your divine audience, and the medium is then this best-selling webinar sequence in place, then you can start driving Facebook ads, Google ads, and different paid advertising. And to me, that's the holy grail. If you can get all of those things worked out, and you can, it's been done over and over and over, then the rest of your business becomes easy. If you get a best-selling webinar sequence running in the background for your business, that will give you the cash that you need to live. It gives you the cash that you need to grow your business, so that all the other marketing things that you do are then surplus income to you and allows you to scale at an even bigger level. When you can buy Facebook advertising or Google advertising, and at a certain point, you can learn the basics of all these things. That can be done. But at a certain point, you can afford a professional that's going to help you do all that. But you've got to have your webinar, your best-selling webinar, in place before you can afford and or hire the experts with this. But if you crack the code, if you achieve that holy grail of a best-selling webinar that converts with Facebook traffic or Google ad traffic, what we call cold traffic in the business, then you are golden. Because then you can start to go out to affiliates and joint venture partners and say, look at the results that I'm getting, look at the sales that I'm getting. Imagine what this would be like with endorsed email traffic if you were to support me, and I'll support you. You start to scale your business that way. When you start building your tribe and growing your tribe, and then you start sending them through your own webinar funnel, then if you've cracked the code with Facebook ad traffic already and you're getting sales from your Facebook traffic and you're in the black from the cost of your ads and the cost of your automated sequence, and you're in the black on the back end of that, you are golden. And then you can really start to grow and scale your business. So here is an example of Jack Canfield and Pamela Bruner. Both are clients of mine. I've consulted on a couple of Jack's programs, and I worked on their Tapping into Ultimate Success launch, and they used an automated live stream to sell this online program. And so they really cracked the code. And Jack now uses a webinar, an automated webinar sales sequence to sell his Success Principles coaching program, which is a $7,000 investment. So he gets people on a webinar just like this and gives them great value and shows them the potential and possibility of being a success principle coach, and they actually gets them on a strategy call where they sell a $7,000 training. Okay, so tragic mistake number one. I mentioned earlier about people jumping the gun and trying to dream too big. So I'm actually going to show you the 4 stages, the 4 steps of an enlightening expert business online. So the mistake is people want to go from 0 to a product launch. You know, they dream about and they desire and they're grasping about this, you know, exploding onto the scene when they haven't done the work in the background. And I remember when Bonnie Raitt finally had her big breakthrough best-selling album and top, you know, Billboard #10 song, and she laughed and says, yeah, I'm an overnight sensation that's been 10 years in the making. Not that you need to be 10 years in the making, but Bonnie Raitt was really pointing to, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to have in place before you're really ready to harness these energies and principles of success. So let's go back to step 1 and let me show you what they are. And this is what I've seen, particularly for enlightening experts who are using personal and spiritual principles and working with a spiritual audience. So this is, you know, really geared to you guys. One is, you know, you're an expert. You've got a signature process that you teach or that you lead your clients through or your groups through. And you're able then to not only sell one-on-one sessions, but you create group packages of that. And as I mentioned before, I think every coach that is delivering any specific and measurable transformation and having done the inner work to get the outer results, you know, they know their own self-value and their own self-worth, ought to be getting a minimum of $1,000 for 9 sessions, but more, you know, to $3,000 for those sessions, 9 sessions. Inherent in that, you've got a process, whether it's a one-on-one conversation, whether it's getting on a group call, whether it's, you know, standing at your BNI group or some small group in your town, and you're able to give a talk of some kind that allows people then to raise their hand and invest with you. You know, that's you being an expert in your business in your corner of the world. From that, step number 2 is, from your signature process, you actually create a course, an online course that's digital and or physical or a combination of both, that you know, is unique to you. You've got your own signature course. I can't tell you how many people I get to go to masterminds, very high level masterminds. People are paying $10, $20, $50, $70, $100,000 a year for some of these masterminds, and they don't even have their own signature course. It just broke my heart to see that over and over and over, of people not having their own signature course. Now, that can be, you know, like my evolutionary meditation program. It's a 6-week course. It's $297, you know, when I offer it. With a best-selling webinar, you can be selling a year-long mastermind or a year-long mentorship for multiple thousands of dollars. Though, you know, the price range on your signature course can be quite broad and wide. It just depends on what your strategy is with your business. Now, from your signature course, step number 3, and this is what I tell all of my clients, all of my students now, is once you've got a course that you can sell, then you need to create that best-selling evergreen webinar funnel for it. When you crack the code on the paid traffic, then you can start running affiliate and joint venture traffic through it, and then you are golden. That puts you in a position where you have cash in the bank and you can afford to live and you can afford to grow. At that point, once you've got a best-selling webinar in place, then you can start to think about how do I really then offer higher level advanced courses. You know, like with the Barefoot Doctor, it was School for Warriors 2 and School for Warriors 3. For you, you might have some introductory course like evolutionary meditation, and in my business, then my next level is the soul purpose training, embodying your soul purpose. That's a $2,000 offer, and then my next invitation after that is to be an actual evolutionary meditation facilitator, and that's a $7,000 certification. So you know, you can choose to design advanced courses for your graduates and alumni from your best-selling signature course. And at that point, and only at that point, do I encourage people then to do step number 4, and that's to do an actual product launch on your signature course, and then really scale up with, you know, doing a house launch to your tribe and your list, and then starting to look at affiliate partners. And you know, product launches are not for sissies, let me tell you right now. So okay, so those are the 4 steps that I see that around tragic mistake number 1. People try to jump the gun. So get your signature process, create a signature course, creating a best-selling webinar funnel for your signature course. Then you get to decide, do you want to go and actually do a whole product launch around it, and or create advanced courses. It's up to you and how you choose to do your businesses. Now here is an example of somebody who has had amazing success. This is David Nagel. He is one of the top sales teachers in the world using universal principles. When he hired me, again, he was amazing from the stage and at live events, but was trying to crack the code online. And the art of success was actually his immediate gratification bribe for years on his website. And so many people had downloaded and had extraordinary testimonials because of the breakthroughs and transformations they got from the free audio course. It was a 4 audio teleclass that he had done at one point. So he actually came and they wanted to repackage it and re-record it and make it updated and add new content to it. And as a little aside, David and his beloved Aaron came to Houston, where I live, to work with me, and we went into the studio, the same studio Beyonce and Destiny's Child recorded their first 4 albums in the very same sound studio we were at. So I have very fond memories. And David set up his little flip chart. And even though it was just me and Aaron and JD, my audio guy, in the audience, David was in there in the sound room with his little flip chart writing, and you know, that's just how he teaches. You know, he's illustrating and writing and bringing that kinesthetic quality to what he's sharing. So, but the Art of Success launch was the highest successful single converting offer that they had made in the history of his business. And then we got 12.5% of the list that actually bought the program while it was available. Just amazing conversions. Okay, so that brings us to sort of now the final piece. What are the 6 steps of a best-selling webinar, the 6 elements, the 6 components that you need for your own best-selling webinar? And the first one we've really talked quite a bit about tonight, your optimal offer for your divine audience. Your offer and your messaging that are in alignment with your soul, speaking to your perfect customers from your heart to their heart, from your soul to their soul. The more time and energy and attention you can put into that, the better you're going to be at articulating and sharing and connecting your transformation and enrolling your perfect customers. Now, the next element of a best-selling webinar is your registrations. You post something on Facebook, you send out an email, and you get people to raise their hand and actually register for your webinar. So how do you maximize that? In the perfect world, for every 10 people that click a link on Facebook or in your email, 7 of them should register for your webinar training. So that's a 70% success rate. In our world of marketing, high 40s to 70% is considered from decent to really, really good. Now, here's a little tip to sort of increase the registration for your webinar. You actually can offer a free report, an ebook on the topic of your webinar, because it's really easy to get people to sort of opt in for a report or a book. And then once they've had an experience of you, and they've actually opted in, you've got their name and their email address, you immediately invite them to do this deep dive webinar training. It's a little harder to get people to opt in for a 90-minute training if they don't already know, like, and respect you. So if you offer a free report or an ebook on the topic, the same topic as your webinar, then it's easier to sort of get them in the sequence in the process. Okay. Optimal attendance. How do you get them to actually show up? Once they've registered is one thing. How do you actually get them to attend is another, and there's an art and a science in that. And unfortunately, in our world, the average attendance these days is for every 100 people that registers, 20 or 25 of them are going to show up. So about a 20 to 25% attendance rate. So not so good. So here's a little tip. When you're getting ready to promote your webinar, only start promoting it 4 days before the event. Now, logical thing is say, well, if I did 2 weeks of promotion, then I could get more people to register. That might be true. But as far as attendance goes, the farther out people register, the less they actually show up. So our testing right now says that if people register within 4 days of the event, the closer they register to the event, the more likely they are to show up and actually attend for you. So only 4 days in advance. Okay. Element number 4, optimal engagement of your divine audience in your webinar. Once they show up, how do you keep them? Well, you've experienced a couple of things already. Offer a free gift for those who stay to the end. Okay, I've already talked about my instant gratification bribe that you'll get if you stay to the end of tonight's presentation. That's one. But also, if you think back to the story I told about embodied meditation, and paying attention was the #1 tool that helped me stay sober and get clean and sober over 20 years, 26 years clean and sober now, I think. And then how I invited you to exercise that same quality of attention and presence for our time tonight. and made the link that that same kind of attention and presence is also the same skill that will serve you in growing your Enlighten Experts business. So that was two different ways that I invited you to engage with me for our time together. Element number 5, optimal sales to your divine audience. How do you get the maximum number of sales? Well, that's where crafting a best-selling webinar from beginning to end is so essential, in getting your message in line and in front of your divine audience is so important. But then how do you present your offer in such a way that it becomes irresistible to the people that you are destined to help, and that were born and are destined to work with you to get the transformation that you deliver? And a little tip is one that you have to really deliver incredible value. And you also need to remind people of the value that you've shown them. And so that said, you also get to show them the pain of not investing. What's at risk to them if they don't invest? Who are they going to continue to be if they don't invest, versus who will they be if they are successful? And then the 6th and final element is, no matter how amazing you are, how charismatic you are, the incredible value that you provide, and how effective your sales offer is to your audience, there simply are not going to be able, 100% of people who register for your event are not going to make it. The people who actually show up, you can't guarantee that all of them are going to stay all the way through. The people who stay all the way through don't necessarily buy. So there's that small percentage, 1, 2, 6, 10% if you're really, really excellent at this, to buy. But what about the 90% of people who didn't buy? So your optimal follow-up sequence is, how do you engage those people to invite them to invest in your transformation? And one of the tips that works well for me is, this is a 90-minute training. This is a webinar training. You've committed an excellent amount of time and attention to be here this evening, and thank you for that. But one of the ways that I do is I do a Cliff Notes version, where I'll just do a 15 or 20-minute video of me in front of a flip chart, where I will go over some of the major points that we've covered this evening, and then I make my invitation using the flip chart to make my offer. That's just a little tip for you right there. So this is a success story here, and this is one of my most successful projects that I've worked on. This is Ted McGrath. He's a VIP strategy client, and in last summer we did an online launch for his Message to Millions program, and we used 3 different webinar events during the cart open in a matter of 2 weeks. We did a sales webinar presentation to open the cart. He did actually a 7 or 8 hour live stream event in the middle, and then we did a sales webinar at the close of the event. And in 2 weeks time, we did $1.3+ million in sales on that strategy. So when you get your message and your divine audience in line with your medium, and the medium I'm recommending here is a best-selling webinar, an evergreen funnel, when you get those in place, then it is amazing the magic that can happen for you. So I wanted to circle back to something that I talked about earlier in the importance of doing the inner work to get the outer results. And In my experience, that when we have those core woundings, that we have those old tapes, those old programs that tell us that we're not good enough, that we don't deserve success, that we don't deserve to be happy, we don't deserve to be wealthy, that we're broken or that we're wounded or that we're incomplete in some way. When those programs are running and sabotaging our success on the back end, we absolutely have to clear them. But again, one of the things that I see happen is that those programs, those tapes, are running at all 5 layers of consciousness. I call them our 5 vital intelligences, but you would think of them in terms of physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Moral intelligence, another way to say it, is choice. The choices, the habits and behaviors that you have. Those programs are running at all 5 layers. In the body, in the physical, there's actually in the fascia, the connective tissues of your muscles, that connective tissue matrix that moves from inside every cell all the way to your entire skin is a layer of connective tissues. Your emotional, the amygdala of your brain, which regulates your emotions and its relationship to all the hormonal glands in your body and how there are patterns the way emotions flow through you, is programmed. Your mind, the neural pathways of your brain, those old tapes and old programs are wired into the neural patterns of your brain and your nervous system throughout your body. Your spiritual intelligence, I call them frozen light. In the yogic tradition, they call them sanskaras. They're energetic blocks in your auric system that have to be cleared before you can activate your vital chi or shakti. And then your choices, your moral intelligence, your choices are affected by your habits and behaviors and all this other stuff at every level of your being. So when you do a healing and a clearing, you get the biggest results when you clear all 5 layers simultaneously. Why some systems work for some people and not others is because they'll focus on 1 or 2, say the emotional and the mental, but they don't work on the physical. Or they don't focus on, making new and different choices, or they don't focus on the spiritual. So in my experience, when you work at clearing all 5, you get the biggest bang for your healing. And then particularly with the spiritual, once you've done this clearing, you want to activate the dormant energies that are now available to you. So that holistic way of clearing and healing includes an activation. So you do all 3 of those. That helps you to clear the inner blocks to get the success that you want in the outer world and with your business. So what will cracking the code do for you? You might recognize this guy. This is John Lennon, and he was in a group called the Beatles. You might remember something about the Beatles. But he wrote one of the most beloved songs called Imagine. And he really asked the world, imagine what the world would be like if we lived as one. Well, I want you to imagine something right now. If you were able to crack the code of and as an enlightening expert, and you were able to crack that code and achieve that holy grail for your enlightening expert business of a best-selling webinar working in the background of your business 24/7, so that all of your other efforts that you did throughout the year would be layered on top of that, success after success after success. Just imagine what that best-selling webinar would do for you just financially, for you and your beloveds. Imagine what the success of that best-selling webinar would do for your impact in the world, your ability to reach more and more people's hearts and lives to transform, the impact of your growing tribe as you engage them and enroll them in your particular worldview and philosophy and healing techniques and transformations, the movement that you're able to create. On the inner level, as you clear and heal more and more blocks and activate more and more of your dormant energy, who you are being in your own skin, in your own life. And then from the world's perspective, the world is demanding that light workers step up. This is not an easy time to be a human being. And particularly, it's not an easy time to be a light worker. You know, we as human beings like the softer, easier road, and we like to hide from the hard stuff as much as we can. But the world is demanding that we step up and that we do our own inner work so that we can not only have the success in our businesses and with our students and our clients and our patients, but that we can actually then start to join heart to heart, soul to soul with everyone else around the world that's doing this work, so that we can actually create a tsunami, a movement of consciousness that uplifts all of humanity and allows us to solve and to heal the chronic problems that have haunted us for thousands of years: war, hatred, cruelty, ignorance, poverty, suffering, man's inhumanity to man. I believe that it's actually within our grasp, that there are enough people around the world, and I've seen them, I've met them, I've talked to them, I've worked with them, I've studied with them all over the world, who are lighting their souls. They're reaching into their most radiant, most enlightening selves and being seen and being counted. And there's more people now ever in the world that are doing that. And it's you at every level of your life and every level of your business thriving. And so just imagine who you're being in your life and in your own body and in your world, in your tribe, in your family, in your community, as you're stepping into your magnificence in this way. So that's it for the free portion of our training. I thank you for your intention and attention. I am going to make an invitation if you're interested in going deeper in your own enlightening expert work tonight. And I will also remind you that at the end of tonight's program, I'll be sharing with you the free bonus gift of my 3-hour training on attracting your perfect customers. So if you're interested in that, hang out. This invitation is for the enlightening experts who are ready to create your own best-selling webinar as the foundation of your online business. Tonight's invitation is for the enlightening experts who are ready for a successful online business that meets every marker for success: more sales, more customers, more lives transformed, more subscribers engaged with the wisdom that only you can share, more time for your solitude, more time for those that you love, more time to travel. So if you're ready, then you've got two choices that you're faced with at this moment. One is that you can take the information that I shared with you and try to go your own way. And I'm here to tell you, just that map of a successful online expert's biz Enlightening Experts Biz. Just having that, if I would have had that in 2006, it would have saved so much time and so much money and so much effort. If I would have just had somebody say, create your offer first, then grow your list and match your list of divine audience to your offer. If I would have had somebody that really just taught me that, impressed upon me that would have changed my business. I would be in a very different place today than I am now, for sure. So, I hope that what I've shared with you has been of value to you. But, you can take what I've shared with you, you can go your own way, absolutely, and you're welcome to do that. But it's a little bit like rolling the dice, in that you've got a 50-50 chance that with your own willpower and your good note-taking skills, that you'll land the kind of success and the life and the cash and the rewards that you want to deserve, and the change in the world that you're here to make. And then there is your second option, which I believe is the wiser choice, and that's let me work with you. This is the quickest, fastest, and easiest way to get the results in your Enlightening Expert Biz that you desire and that you deserve. Why start from scratch, and why try to figure it out on your own? I spent the last 10 years wandering in the wilderness, and I've studied with some amazing people. Don't get me wrong, I've studied with some of the top gurus, not only spiritual gurus, but online gurus. And I've had a great time and a great experience, but I've also invested literally, I know I've invested well over $200,000 in training to get where I'm at today, in between actual online trainings, masterminds, mentorships, things like that. I've created a blueprint that's been tested for years, and one that's responsible for thousands of dollars of successful signature courses sold, money earned, and lives transformed. But before we go any further, I want to let you know that this program that I'm offering, the Enlightening Experts Funnel School, is not a magic bullet. I want to be 100% fair and honest with you. If you're looking for a magic pill or a magic bullet, or if you're looking for one more magical thinking, get rich quick and easy way to grow your business, then this is not it. This is not a program for you. This program is ready for people to put down miracle answers and still want an elegant way to achieve their success. There are no easy answers. And yet, I've made the Enlightening Expert Funnel School as systematic and easy for you as I possibly can. So if you're wanting the real answer to crack the code to your Enlightening Expert Biz, and this is what I love, this is one of my favorite fortune cookies that I ever received. None of the secrets of successful work unless you do. If you're really ready to put the effort into honing your message and your offer in alignment with your soul, and honing in on who your divine audience is, if you're really ready to do that work, and then to build an automated best-selling webinar sequence to share that message and that offer to your divine audience, then this is what you can expect. The primary number one goal of this Enlightening Experts Funnel School is for you to have your own best-selling webinar that sells your signature offer, whether it's $197 or whether it's $10,000. It does not matter. So long as that offer is in alignment with your soul and your tribe, this is a medium that will allow you to achieve that. And you can sell it to your own tribe, you can sell it to your affiliate partners, and more importantly, the goal is to optimize it so that you can actually sell it via Facebook and Google ad traffic. So just imagine what having your own best-selling sales webinar working 24/7 for you, making weekly, even daily sales for you and your business, and growing your subscriber list. So here's what you can expect in the program. One, it's an 8-week program, once a week. Now, we start the first week of November, so because of the holidays, we're actually going to go through mid-January. So you get 8 weeks online training with me live. And then there's actually one of the bonuses is a 3-day live event here in Houston. Now, you get everything that you need in the online training, but my experience has been those who really step up and show up for the 3-day live event, it takes them to another level. It gives them a different level of clarity, and plus you get to actually be with and hang the other people in the program. The program is limited to 12 people. It's a maximum of 12 people, and we already have 6 enrolled in the program. So what you can expect over the 8 weeks of the training is how to craft your optimal offer in line with your soul, and how do you craft your message. And then we do a deep dive, me working with you and the group, on who is your divine audience and how do you connect to them. And then we look at your optimal webinar registrations. What is the process? What is the messaging? What's the sequence for you and your business that's going to get you the maximum number of registrations for your best-selling webinar? And then what is the sequence that we put in place to actually get those people who register to show up and attend your webinar? And then how do we keep those people who show up, how do we keep them engaged all the way to the end? And then how do we craft your offer in such a way that you get maximum sales on your best-selling webinar? And then the final element is, what is the follow-up sequence that you put in place that's perfect for you and your business and your audience that allows you to get maximum sales? One of the things that we're seeing in the industry right now in the spiritual and heart-centered sort of business space is that actually 50% of the sales come in after the actual webinar. So that's just something to keep in mind. So how do we maximize not only the sales you get during the webinar, but then maximize the sales afterwards? So before we go any further, I just wanted to remind you, what is the cost of not figuring this out for you as an enlightening expert and for your online business? And just a reminder, what was the amount of money that you put for your financial goal for the next 30 days? What do you want to be earning month by month by month? And then what are the dollars earned last month? What did you actually earn last month? And then what is X minus Y? What does that cost to you? Your goal minus the reality of what you earned in the last 30 days is the financial cost, just the hard money cost to you not figuring this out in your business and your life. So the Enlightening Expert Funnel School is by application only. As I said, it's limited to 12 people. There are already 6 people that are enrolled in the program. So for you to have the opportunity to invest, And I want to find out if you're a good match. If you've got an offer that converts and your messaging needs a little tweaking, or who you're speaking to, who your divine audience is, needs a little tweaking, and you're ready to put that into an automated, evergreen, best-selling webinar sequence, then I want to make sure you're a good match for the course, and I want to make sure that I'm a good match for you, and that I know what your expectations are, and that I'm clear that I can deliver those expectations to you. One thing I learned about working with students and clients a long time ago: manage expectations. So I want to have a conversation with you. So what you do is, if you go to www.tinyurl.com/enlightening-expert, then if you go there, you're going to see a form, and it's 10 questions. So please answer those questions. And when you click submit, two things will happen. One, I will automatically get an email with your application for a strategy session, and then you'll actually be taken to a place where you can schedule our 1-hour talk together. And so you fill out the form, click submit, and then we will have a time together, and we'll decide if it's right for you, and we'll go from there. So 8 weeks worth of training, live training with me. One of the bonuses is a 3-day live event. You get everything that you need to succeed and win in creating your best-selling webinar during the live event. During the online 8-week training. But as a bonus, you get the 3-day live event here in Houston. My experience is that those that come take their work to a much deeper level, and this kind of working with your messaging and your divine audience, that will serve you the rest of your life. Mediums will change, sequences and marketing strategies will change, but your offers and your messaging in line with your soul, that's not going to change too much. It will evolve, but you'll always have a solid foundation. Who your divine audience is for those offers, that can evolve and change too. But again, you'll have a solid foundation of who those people are, and you'll only be up-leveling and up-leveling and up-leveling. There are some bonuses that are involved for you in the Enlightening Expert Funnel School. One, I do 4 standalone, completely separate healing, clearing, and activation. You come to the call with whatever you feel is blocking or hindering you from taking inspired action on creating your best-selling webinar sequence, or really anything else. It doesn't much matter. It's all related. And we will heal and clear the source of that, and they will activate any dormant energy. So there's 4 standalone calls that you get in addition to the 8 weeks of online training. And then by request and sort of command, my students have been asking me for a how to write in an engaging way. And as a best-selling, award-winning author, and part of the work that I do for my clients, I used to write all the copy for my launches, but now we leave that to other professionals to do that. But I certainly review the email copy, the copy for opt-in pages, for landing pages, for sales pages. I review all that. So anyway, I'm going to be doing a 90-minute training on how to write cleanly, crisply, engagingly, to inspire people to take an action, whether it's open an email, click on a link, or invest in a program. So I'll be doing a 90-minute presentation on writing well and writing to sell. So those are a couple of extra bonuses that are included in the program as well. Okay, so I promise you guys a stick to the end bonus. So thank you very much for that. And I'll tell you, I accidentally, just before we started, I had the link all pulled out for you, but I can see exactly the people right now. I'm taking a screenshot of the folks that are still on and have lasted through this long. So I'll personally email you at the end of this program the link to your Attracting Your Perfect Customers training. So I will deliver that to you. So thank you so much for your extra time and attention. I really appreciate it. Let's see. So let's see. I'm going to come and just see if there's any comments or questions. So let's see. You're very welcome, Dr. Jenna. Nicolene asked, will there be a replay? Yes, I'll post this tomorrow for a replay, that's for sure. All right, beautiful people posting their different incomes. Yeah, fabulous, fabulous. All right, great. Well, I just want to thank you again. If you're interested in a one-on-one strategy session with me and applying for the Enlightening Experts Funnel School, please do go to tinyurl.com/enlightening-expert and fill out the questionnaire there. Somebody said, thank you, the information has been invaluable. Did I mention a price? No, I didn't. We'll discuss that, in the strategy session as we go over that, the Enlightening Expert Funnel School. So we'll determine if we're a good match for each other. We'll look at the cost that this is having in your business, in your life, and then we'll talk about the investment for the program. So again, tinyurl.com/enlightening-expert. So thank you. My whole life, my whole world is committed to helping people step into their most radiant, most enlightening magnificence. And whether that is you as an individual or if it's you as an enlightening expert, doesn't matter to me. I want you to succeed because I know by supporting and helping you succeed that I'm serving my own soul's mission of creating a tipping point in consciousness. So if you are called to go deeper into this work, if you are really called as an enlightening expert to take your expertise online and really scale your business to have the impact, to have the financial success, to become part of a movement, to start a movement of consciousness that really becomes a tsunami of change and healing and transformation for our world, then I'd love to work with you. You're exactly the kind of person that I want to see succeed, and I want to help succeed in this world. So okay. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much. A pleasure and a privilege to be with you as always. And thank you.